Hello and welcome to Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment. And so today we actually picked a topic to focus on, and we're going to really talk today about comedy shows that have really stood out to us over the years.
Some
sitcoms, some laughables. You know, I'm not huge on comedic movies and things of that nature, but there have definitely been some shows that I've watched from start to finish, in regards to their seasons. And so we're each going to pick three that we really enjoyed and go from there.
Yeah.
So I'll get started first. I selected Arrested Development as one of the shows. It's a show that is like not the kind of humor that is like, I don't know. I can't describe it.
It's not silly humor.
It's not silly humor. No. It's very smart. It's very like Seinfeld, Larry David, kind of different level kind of humor. So it can be something that people enjoy on one end, and it can be something that people are like, oh my God, that's a little weird and quirky on the other end.
That's true.
So it took me a minute to get into it, really. Like I kind of watched it and I was like, okay. But then the more I watched it, the more I was like, these people, I love my train wrecks. So therefore I was like, okay, fits right in. So anywho, let's go through the cast. So you have Jason Bateman. He's kind of the main character, if you think about it, for this show. And he's Michael Bluth. He has a son whose name is George Michael Bluth. And so it's kind of funny where they always are talking about it. And it's not George. It's George Michael.
It's George Michael.
You have to consistently say George Michael.
Like
right, exactly, which is hilarious. You have Portia de Rossi in there as Jason Bateman's sister, who is Lindsay Bluth, and Will Arnett, who is Job Bluth, who it's spelled G-O-B, but it's pronounced J-O-B, Job.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's because, like, Job in the Bible is, like, everybody's like, Job. It's like, no, it's Job.
They're like Job. Exactly. Job. They're like, okay, because it looks like G-O-D, G-O-B, but you don't say it like God.
It's like,
you say it like Job.
It's like, take away the E, add in the B.
It's
Job.
A weird scenario. You have Jessica Walter as Lucille Bluth, who plays the mother. You have Jeffrey Tambor, who plays the father, George Bluth. Yes. And then you have just a cast of characters. So interestingly enough, Ron Howard is the narrator of the show. So therefore, from the beginning all the way throughout, you just hear Ron Howard's voice, and you're just like, I know that voice.
Yeah, so why do I know this voice?
I know this voice from somewhere.
Familiar.
And then come to find out. Yeah. But they have a little bit of everybody in the show. You have David Cross, who plays Tobias, and he is the husband of Portia de Rossi. Oh, and I forgot a brother.
Kind of her husband.
Yeah, I mean, they are married.
They are married.
Okay, Tony Hale. I forgot him as a brother. And he's Buster. His name is Byron. Nobody ever calls him Byron. Really? Yeah,
so
his name is Buster. Everybody calls him Buster. He's a little interesting. Like, the funny thing is, it's like Portia's all about money, all about fashion, all about spending money, and all those kind of things. Will Arnett, he's a kind of, I guess you would say, magician. And he tries to. Yeah, he's a magician. He does his little tricks.
He does. With the concrete and everything.
Yeah, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. David Cross is a floater. Like, he's just a little all over the place. Tobias. He's just whatever is. Jason Bateman's just trying to keep it all together. Like, he's the one that's kind of the reasonable one.
It's like, what are you even doing?
Yeah, exactly. And I forgot about Maybe. So you have Maybe in the show. And if you ever watched the Search Party TV show, she is the main character on there. And then George Michael, it gets into some antics, but and he just has a weird relationship with Maybe initially. Like, it's just some strange stuff. Yeah. It's like he has a crush on his cousin. Yeah. It's kind of the easiest way to say it. And it's from episode 1 for the most part. It's weird. So and the other interesting person who shows up in the first episode, Liza Minnelli.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't Buster in love with Liza Minnelli?
Liza Minnelli is in love with Buster.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah.
So there's a charity event, and Liza Minnelli is up for auction, and so is his mother, Buster's mother, Lucille. Both of them are named Lucille.
Lucille 1 and Lucille 2. Yeah.
And Buster is extremely close to his mother, too close.
For
the most part. And so for him to go from dating to dating a woman named Lucille, who's as old as his mother and his mother's friend. It's just a weird scenario. But you do have other people who show up occasionally throughout the season. Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul, Henry Winkler, Charlize Theron, Carl Weathers, Ben Stiller. The list just goes on and on of people throughout the seasons who show up on the show. But for the most part, getting into the actual, if you can get into this particular show, it's so many layers and moving parts. But basically, it's a show about Jason Bateman's character, Michael, and his family. And so basically the story starts with his father retiring. They're all on a boat. His father's retiring and he's getting ready to name the successor. So there's this big, huge boat party. And Michael thinks, okay, I'm going to be named successor. So this is great. Let me let the family know things are going to change. We're going to have to tighten the purse straps, no more fur coats, no more luxury flights and trips to Tahiti and things like that. Like, we need to really calm this down. Well, the father decides when he is making his announcement that he is going to leave everything to his wife. So his wife is thrilled. Michael, of course, is disappointed. And 5 seconds later, guess what? The police show up on a boat, coming towards their boat. I think it's the SEC. And they're basically arresting him for securities fraud and, what is it, when you embezzle from your own company and things like that. Like, he basically, as one of the news reports said, was using his own company as his personal bank account and, piggy bank and utilizing the money and misappropriating funds. That's probably the best way to say it. He says when he's in prison and told Michael, when Michael was like, why didn't you name me the successor? And he was like, because you're going to get in trouble. Like, I knew what I had done and I didn't want you to be implicated. That's why I said your mother. And he was like, well, why did you say mom? He was like, oh, because a husband and wife both can't get charged for the same crime. And Michael was like, that's not a thing. And he was like, oh, I have a terrible lawyer.
It's like, you can't, like, it's supposed to be isn't it supposed to be you
can't
testify against each other.
You can't testify against each other, but you could go to jail for the same crime. Come on.
And some little housewives, they know.
I was just getting ready to say that. Teresa and Jill will tell you. So anyway, what ends up happening is that he basically decides, all right, I do have to step in. I do have to kind of help take over and keep everything going, especially since they froze the father's funds. So the funny thing is, it's a really cute, funny scene to me where he's in the jail telling the family, oh yeah, dad's going to be held, until, no bond, all of that kind of stuff. And they froze the assets of the family, and they did a big gasp on the assets. They could care less.
They care about their father being in jail. He's going to be in prison for a long time.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Okay,
but we have no money.
Mm-hmm. Like,
how dare he?
Exactly. So it reminds me a little bit of Schitt's Creek when you think about how
absolutely.
They went from having everything to like now having to figure out how to make money. And that's what's happening to this family because everything that they had was, pretty much seized. And so therefore there's a situation in which, George Michael is given access to run the company's Banana Hut. So there's this little, the first place.
About the Banana Hut.
The first place that the father opened was like a banana stand in Newport Beach, right? Mm-hmm. And so this little banana stand, and the father opened it. You could, get your little banana pops and banana splits and just banana stuff. So ice cream shop bananas, right? So the father was always saying when the son went to go visit, the father was always like, well, there's money in the banana stand. Like, there's always money in the banana stand. Like, keep, doing that business because there's always money in the banana stand. Like, even if we can't, access any other funds, they're not touching that. So there's always money in the banana stand. Well, the son realizes there isn't that much money in the banana stand. So what Michael does is he gives Job the insurance information and money and check to send off to the insurance company so that they can keep up with their insurance. And then he plans to burn down the banana stand. Yeah. Job upset that he doesn't have a bigger role and his brother is just sending him to the post office. That his older brother didn't get the business and he's just being sent to the post office. He decides, you know what? I'm just throwing this into the ocean. I'm not even going to send off this insurance check. So of course, when the banana stand burns to the ground, Michael is like, so Job, you sent off that check to the insurance, right? And Job's just starting to slowly back away, like, what, huh? So then they realize they don't have any money. He tells his father, hey, Dad, I went ahead and, we burned
little
down
arson.
Burned down the banana stand, and his father was like, there was $250,000.
There's always money in the banana stand.
So it was like there was $250,000 in the walls of the banana stand that nobody in the family knew about. And his father was like, Michael was like, why didn't you tell me? He was like, how many times did I have to tell you? Every time you came to visit, there's always money in the banana stand. And he was like, I did not understand that that's what you were trying to say. But that just gives you an example of the craziness that starts off with this particular family and where they go, the things that they do.
Just getting it all into it. Yeah. Just all the quirky and just stupidness.
It's ridiculous. I mean, Job wants to go into prison with his father. Talks to the warden about it to tell the warden, I want to come into prison so I can break out. And so that is his goal, is to break out of prison. Yeah, and it's like, what makes you think? Exactly, as a magician. And he's so confident in himself that he'll be able to break out. And that is a hilarious situation as well. Absolutely. So it's just so many layers and moving parts. I mean, I haven't even talked about Tony Hale's character as Buster in all the ridiculousness.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't Buster end up losing his hand or something?
Yep. Yep, that happens.
So much.
It's Tobias.
The Winnebago? Who had the Winnebago?
I can't even remember because I didn't re-watch the whole
season. With the
season,
steps on it that was supposed to go to like an airplane or something?
Well, the steps is actually in the very first or second episode because that's what Job wanted to use to have him help get out of the prison is pull the van up so that I can jump and go down the steps and get out of prison. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So that's what I have. Arrested Development. I actually watched it on Netflix, so that's where I was. And then
that is a show that went away and came back.
Yeah, it did go away, and then by popular demand, they brought it back and finished out the season. So yeah. All right, sis. So what you got?
All right, so I have one. I have two of them that kind of like have that same kind of vibe, but I'm gonna go with the stupidest one first.
Okay.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Always Sunny, yeah, that one's interesting.
All right, so now get this. It's the stupidest show in the world. It is Dumb and Dumber, but just in 30-minute increments, okay? But it's 18 seasons and counting.
Are you serious?
I am so serious. I swear, I think people just smoke a lot and then watch the show. And
I had no idea it was still on TV.
Oh, it's since 2005.
Wow. Okay, all right.
All right, so if you ever want to watch it, excuse me, it's on Hulu. It's a FX show.
Interesting.
I think it might be like also on like the ABC app or something like that. So you have Charlie Day in it playing Charlie. You have Rob McElhenney as Mac. You have Caitlin Olsen as Dee. You have Glenn Howerton as Dennis. And you have the Danny DeVito as Frank.
Yep.
All right, so look, there's 5 alcoholic idiots, okay? They're trying to run this dive bar. I mean, that's what they are.
I know, they shouldn't be running a bar.
No. They get this dive bar, they're trying to run it and everything, and it's, like, failing horribly. So they just make up little schemes to try to make money, like, and then they, like, try to get people into the bar by making up these schemes, and then it's just... I don't even know. Like nothing ever works out for them, and sometimes it might work out, but not how it's supposed to have started off working.
Right,
like
because everything a scam or a scheme.
Absolutely,
or something.
It's Philadelphia.
It is.
It's Philadelphia.
And Danny DeVito is right there with he is not trying to correct them.
Man, okay, so the one episode. So, like, okay, let me just name off some of the episodes. One of the episodes' name is Who Pooped the Bed? What do you think the episode's about?
Somebody pooping the bed.
Who pooped the bed? Yeah. Like, you got to find out who pooped the bed. Uh-huh. And then it's like going through, so, Charlie Day has that high pitched voice. He was like, well, I know it's me.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my gosh. He can be a little annoying after.
I know, but he's still so funny.
Hilarious.
He is the funniest. And I think his voice, expression. Yeah, and his voice makes him funnier. Mm-hmm. And then he'll do this thing where he talks really fast and it's funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another one. The Gang Runs for Office. They're running for a political office.
Why?
All of them, of course. Why not?
Okay.
The gang solves the gas crisis because you can solve the gas crisis with 5 people.
Mm-hmm. You and your friends.
Yeah.
You can solve the gas crisis, too.
In Philadelphia, you can solve the gas crisis for the whole United States.
There you go.
The quarantine one, the gang gets quarantined. That is the funniest episode.
Oh, really?
So funny.
Has that been since COVID, or is
I think this was before. I think this might have been before.
Are they
COVID.
like the Simpsons? And
I can't remember if it was COVID or if it was something else. I don't know. It might have just been like a flu or something like that. But they're like taping up vents. They don't want they're like nobody comes into this bar. And then, like, somebody orders pizza. Somebody's, like, eating pizza inside. Like, I'm going to check the air ducts. But they're in there eating pizza because they had, like, the pizza guy come and deliver food to them. Okay. By the end of the episode, like, all right, so Charlie Day goes into the grocery store. Mm-hmm. And he has on, like, a spacesuit. He literally he takes a fishbowl, puts it on his head.
Oh, my gosh. It's so stupid.
And it's just, like, taped up. He has like this sweatsuit on, like like a gym sweatsuit.
Yeah,
he has that.
Kinda,
yeah. So he's walking around looking like he's Buzz Aldrin.
I might have seen some people look like that at the beginning of COVID.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
From like memes and stuff. People at grocery stores and stuff.
But then they're like, so he's at the grocery store and he goes to reach for something. It's like, oh, you're contaminated. There's a cut in your suit. He's like, no, and it's like about to die. Danny DeVito. For some reason, he is so obsessed with all his hand sanitizer that now he's covered his whole body in hand sanitizer. He has shaved all the hair off of his body and just is like going around like, and with hand sanitizer on his body.
Oh my god!
Just imagine putting hand sanitizer all over your body. No. Why would you do that?
I would hope that would burn. Real in regards to whatever he was
looks
putting
like
on there.
It just looks like he has like oil all over him, like baby oil or something like that. But it is hilarious.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! All right. The gang makes Lethal Weapon 6. Okay?
Okay.
They're making the movie Lethal Weapon 6.
Of course. Why not?
Why not? Yeah. But, like, every episode is always, there's something that they want to do. They do it. It falls apart. And then they'll try again tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Never fails. Never fails at all. Like I said, it's like Dumb and Dumber in 30-minute increments. It is such a train wreck. But you can't stop watching it.
And there was that part, and I think I watched up until this part where, and I can't think of his name, the one with the beard and stuff sometimes. Mac. Mm-hmm. Where Mac gained a whole lot of weight.
Yeah. That's the show. Why did Mac gain weight? Yeah, that's
but I feel like it was multiple shows that he he was bigger.
Well, I think he actually did gain weight because usually when guys are trying to like get like all ripped and they're skinnier, they gain a lot and then they go to the gym and then turn that fat into muscle.
Because that's what I feel like. Solid. So then he looked more muscular later, but he just looked like fatter.
Yeah. They made that. There's a whole episode.
So it was I remember that. I remembered that particular part where they were just like, "What's going on with you? Why are you so big?" And then it went on to him like saying he was carb loading and he was doing this and doing that and everything.
I need the macros, man. But it is, I mean, like the like some of the newer seasons. Well, I'm not gonna say the newer, but I mean at least season like 12. They go to Ireland because they're like supposed to be Irish. Okay. Come to find out, Mac's not Irish. Oh. His mom is like I'm not going to say a horrible woman, but she did not love him, okay? Aww. So he's like, "Hey, Mom." She's like, "Who's this?" Oh, my gosh.
I literally said the word mom.
He's like, "Oh, it's Mac." She's like, "Uh-huh." And he's like, "I'm in Ireland. I'm just trying to find out what you were talking about with Dad." She's like, "Yeah, no." He's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "No." And then he's like asking questions about his dad, and he's like, "So you trying to tell me?" He was like, "What was my dad's last name?" Because he thought it was McDonald. Mm-hmm. She said Vandross. And he said, "So my father's name was Luther Vandross."
That's the only Vandross you know.
Exactly. And then she was like, "Yeah," and then she was like, but she said, "Yeah, he's Dutch and I'm Dutch." And then he's like, "So you can't tell me I'm Dutch." She said, "Uh-huh," and then hangs up the phone.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It's just it's stupid, but it's funny. It's just idiotic funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah, check it out. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's on Hulu, FX, ABC. You got 18 seasons. You can binge it for the rest of this year, I feel like.
Yeah, ever.
I mean, because it's like 20-some episodes per season.
Yeah,
so.
and it's only 30 minutes, so, it's quick binge season. Like, you can get through a season in
it's
like 2 days.
Yeah, it's probably like 21, 25-minute episodes. Yeah. But still.
But are they long seasons?
I think it's like 20-some episodes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so that's kind of long too.
I feel like it's 20-some episodes. I know, I mean...
Yeah, no, I was just
It's regular TV, so I feel like with regular TV...
15 or, 13, or normally sitcoms do, you're right, I think they get into like 20, 21.
Oh, well, maybe not, let me see.
I don't know, but yeah.
I've seen like 13 episodes in one season. 13 seems to be the most that I've seen.
Yeah, some comedies do go a little longer, but all right.
Yeah.
Well, great. Good stuff.
So what do you have next, ma'am?
So next, I'm going to talk about the show that a lot of people have probably watched called Modern Family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Modern Family, really funny show. One of the first shows that I actually watched where I felt like they broke the third wall, as they call it, where it's like they'll be having a conversation and all of a sudden look at the camera. And you're just like, wait, they know they're doing this documentary.
It's like a lie. It's like they lie. Just be like, of course you look good in that, babe. And then they look at the camera like, shh, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, and sometimes it's them sitting down doing like their own little like, I don't know, diary room kind of conversations and stuff like that, like it's a documentary. So you're watching the show forgetting that they are being recorded, and you're like, but why are you being recorded? Like, what's so special about your life that you're being recorded? But it has Julie Bowen as Claire Dunphy. You have Ty Burrell as Phil Dunphy. His daughter is Haley Dunphy, and she's played by Sarah Hyland. You also have their son, Luke Dunphy, played by Nolan Gould.
Oh, Luke.
Yeah, and then you have Alex Dunphy, played by Ariel Winter. So that's kind of one family. So you think of Claire and Phil, one family, right? Then you have Ed O'Neill. Of course, everybody knew him.
That's Claire's father.
Yes, Claire's father, playing Jay Pritchett. And everybody knew him from Married with Children.
Absolutely.
Yep, so great actor there.
Al Bundy.
Yep, Al Bundy. Sofia Vergara, and she plays Gloria. And she is married to Jay. So that is the like summer winter romance kind of scenario going on there. She married him, but already had a son, Manny, and that is played by Rico Rodriguez. And let's see who else. Oh, and then you have Mitchell, played by Jesse Tyler Ferguson. That is Jay's other son. So you have Jay's son. I was going to say Jay has Claire as a daughter, and the son is Mitchell. So you have Claire and Mitchell, whose father is Jay, and then Mitchell is married to Eric Stonestreet's character, who is Cameron.
Yeah,
and they have a daughter named Lily.
Yeah, and Lily is awesome.
Lily, yeah. So, and actually, they end up having Joe Pritchett. I forgot to say that.
So
they had little Joe a little later. Sofia Vergara and O'Neill, or Jay and Gloria had little Joe. The only other person that I'll mention is Reed Ewing, and that is Dylan. Because that was kind of Haley's boyfriend the entire time.
Yeah, he was.
And I didn't realize that he was from episode 1. I don't know why I thought that Dylan came into play, like into the seasons, or maybe
but I feel like he's always been there as like the stupid boyfriend.
He's always been there. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'll give him an honorable mention there. Other characters show up as well. Shelley Long in the first few episodes comes in as Dee Dee Pritchett. That's Claire and Mitchell's mom, who showed up at the wedding of Jay and Gloria and burned it down. Basically. I mean, she's good. She even started acting like I'm Gloria, and she was like, yeah, I didn't know when I divorced him he would marry Miss, Chiquita Banana over there. And I mean, she was so horrible and said the most inappropriate things, knocked over the cake, like she was just drinking way too much and was bitter from the beginning anyway about all this happening. But the biggest thing about Modern Family is that everybody is trying to impress Jay.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
That's the whole
impress dad or my father-in-law.
Everybody. So like the kids, not so much. But when it comes to the family, Claire does everything to try to impress her father.
Because was it called?
Well, the competition was Closets.
Yeah, but what was the name of the company?
I can't remember what their company name was, but he owned a closet company where they would go in and renovate people's closets. And then she wanted to take over the business, especially upon his retirement. But then it was all about her living up to or exceeding her father's expectations. Phil Dunphy always has tried to get acknowledgement, support, love, caring, a hug.
He's tried so many times just to get a hug from this guy.
I was looking at the episode where they were out flying a plane because Gloria told Jay he had to be nicer to Phil, and then Claire was like, great, yes, go spend time with my husband. And so long story short, flying an airplane, Phil is holding up a big like hula hoop for the plane to fly through. And he just, poor, Phil, just like so excited, like he's with his own dad. Like, oh my gosh, this is a chance I get to play with my dad with this model plane. And Jay just hits him smack in the face.
Right in the face.
And Claire was like, Dad, you did that on purpose. And he was like, no, I don't. She was like, you can thread a needle. You know you did this on purpose. Like, that is terrible. And I mean, poor Ty, Burrell's character, Phil, is just like, you hit me in the face with a plane. I've been in a plane accident. And it's like, not really. But anyway, so then all comes together because at the end of the show,
Phil does magic too.
Phil does do magic too. Yep, there's magic everywhere. So, but what ends up happening is that Phil, bloody nose and all, ends up getting a hug from Jay, and Jay tells him, like, look, I care about you. I like you. You're a nice person. I like you. Who walks in at that moment? Cameron. And Cameron is like, actually, his husband Mitchell was like, well, I'm glad somebody's getting that from Dad because my husband has never gotten any acknowledgement from our dad other than, because what their dad would do is like before he would even come into their house, knock, 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 knock. What's going on in here? Just checking before I open the door. And he's like, oh my God, Dad, we're not making out in the middle of the living room. Like, come on in kind of thing. And so then all of a sudden Cameron can get into the love fest and hugs and all of that kind of stuff. So it's a beautiful, beautiful moment. But one of the other quick things that I'll talk about is when they brought home Lily, very first episode, they're bringing home Lily. I think she was from Korea, and they're on the plane, and you can tell that Mitchell's character, who's a lawyer, is very like almost argumentative when it comes to like people. So people are like, he's sitting on the plane by himself. Cameron's not there just yet. And people are like, oh, the baby is so cute, da-da-da. He was like, yeah, and then they say, oh, I'm sure the mother is just so excited for y'all to get back home. And he doesn't say anything. Cameron comes, oh my gosh, it's just been so much going on, da-da-da-da-da. Comes sit down. And then, somebody else walks by and is like, oh, look at the little cute baby with the cream puffs. And it was like, what are y'all doing? I'm standing up on this plane to tell you all that love is love. And da-da-da-da-da, dee-dee-dee. And then Cameron was like, I bought her cream puffs. Like, she's literally sitting here eating cream puffs. Yeah. Like, and he was like, oh, okay. So he is overly sensitive about everything. They try to take Lily to a little kid's play session or whatever, and it's like, don't be too gay, like we can't be those parents. So then Cameron's trying to hold back himself dancing with Lily and all of that kind of stuff. And so then all of a sudden the gay couple does come in with their baby, and everybody's like, oh my God, the fun folks are here, whatever. He was like, I could have been there, we could have outshined those gays, and it's just like, it is the most ridiculous, but it is so.
But I love how he just code switches between when he is himself and then when he's coaching, he's like, "Oh my God, sweetheart, I don't mean to thank you so much." I think, "Come on, boys, let's go!" Woo!
Because he is a football coach.
He's a football coach.
He grew up on a farm, all of that kind of stuff. But
and he's a clown.
He's a clown. Yeah. I mean, not even like a funny clown, but I mean like literally profession of going to. Yeah. What was that again?
Yeah, you like that? That's our sound effects.
I like the sound effects. So, so that's Modern Family. It's really a very good show I think it was just superior. Like, it just was so funny. I like the fact that they would talk to the camera. I like the fact that he would say things like, he was like, I'm a cool dad. I know all the cool terms. LOL, laughing out loud. TMI, too much information. WTF. what the face? Why the face? Yeah, it's like he thinks he's so woke and so cool, but he's really not. And it's like so many things that if you're not paying attention, the joke will go over your head. And that's what I love about this show. Yeah, you do. Those are the kind of things that I live for, that kind of comedy where I was like, oh, I see what they did there, and it's
make you think comedy is good.
Yeah, and it was so funny because at one point he had even said, oh, I love all, strong women. Michelle Obama, Serena Williams, and like every woman was a strong black woman. He was like, oh, I see a theme there. Like, he didn't even put together himself like, oh, that's kind of the strong women that I like, kind of thing. So anyway, that's my next one. So it was Modern Family. It's on ABC. You can watch that also on Netflix. So, okay. Yep. All right. What you got? All right.
So for my other one, you can watch this on Peacock. It's a great show. 7 seasons. It's like 20-something minute episodes. Okay. Like 30-minute. Parks and Recreation.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Treat yourself 2011. Okay. Let's talk about Parks and Rec. Okay. This show is... Okay, so you got The Office. You got Modern Family. Yeah. These are those talk to the camera type shows. Yeah. Okay. This one is so funny and so good. Everybody knows the "don't be suspicious" sound that you hear. Suspicious, don't be suspicious. Yeah. Everybody knows that. It came from Parks and Rec. A lot of people don't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until you just said that.
Somebody like faked their death, and then they were like out going to their little look at to see who came to their funeral.
Oh, and they were trying not to be suspicious.
Brother and sister. So he was like, "Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious." Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. And then, one of the girls even just like, Daddy, you're the greatest father ever. And he's just like, oh, thank you, sweet. She's like, money! And she has her hand out for her father to give her money. Oh, my God. She's like 40 years old. It's so funny. I mean, all right, so Parks and Rec is the Parks and Recreation Department in Indiana, and it's the staff that works there. Okay, the staff is crazy. They have crazy little antics. They're just stupid, silly. I mean, it's kind of like everybody who is from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia just working for the Parks and Recreation Department. It is so many different characters in here. So... just to go over some of the people who are in the show, you have Amy Poehler, who plays Leslie Knope. You have Nick Offerman.
Oh yeah, we just talked about him last time around at some point.
He plays Ron Swanson. Ron hates everyone, everything, the government.
So dry.
Yeah, and it's just like you hate everyone and everything, but then you work for the Parks and Recreations Department of Indiana, so.
Yeah, you would think that would be like a happy, fun, joyous type job. Like, I have to be a happy person.
Yeah, we're opening up a new park for the kids. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I'm just going to come and cut the right ribbon and I'm going to go back to my home in the woods where nobody knows where I'm at. I'm off the land. I'm off the grid. Blah, blah, blah. You also have Chris Pratt. He plays Andy. You have Aubrey Plaza, who plays April. Aziz Ansari plays Tom. You have Retta, who plays Donna. Rashida Jones, who plays Anne. Adam Scott, who plays Ben. Rob Lowe is in this. He plays Chris. And then you got Jim O'Hare, who plays Jerry or Gary, or they just keep giving them different names. Okay, Jerry, Gary,
and something else.
It's all the Rees.
Any Rees, yeah.
But
that's funny.
But some of the ideas that they have are stupid, seriously stupid. But sometimes they work. Let me give you one thing that happened. I can give you a couple of them. Okay. All right. So now the Parks and Recreations Department has where they have people come up and say what does the community need? Okay. People are just standing up talking about the different stuff that it needs, and I mean, you just think about it. You're just going to a town hall meeting.
Yep. Exactly.
And some of the people are just like, I want Mariah Carey tickets. And they're just like, okay, well, that's not going to fix the sewage problem, so let's go ahead and go into something else. So, stuff like that. But the people are as crazy and as stupid as the department heads. So, that's what's kind of funny. So, they have one episode called Little Sebastian. Okay? Little Sebastian is a mini horse. Okay. Mini Sebastian is a mini horse with an honorary degree from Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
Okay. There you go. They was like, what's so good about Sebastian? He has an honorary degree.
Yeah.
From Notre Dame, bro. Like,
yeah.
And like when they bring him in, that's the first time you see Ron Swanson. I'm like, oh my God, is it really him? It's really little Sebastian. He's so excited. Everybody's so excited except for Ben, who's just like, I'm not from here. I don't know what this is even about. That ends up being a whole episode about little Sebastian.
Okay.
Funny.
For whatever reason.
Stupid, funny. Just don't know why. The Treat Yourself episode, you know, so you have Tom and Donna, and every year they do a Treat Yourself thing. It's Treat Yourself. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah. And all it is just you just have a day where you just go around and do things. But she said fine leathers, massages.
Yeah. So wait, you got to say it like she said. So you say one.
I don't even remember everything she said.
It could be like,
it's like fine dining.
Treat yourself.
Leather goods.
Treat yourself.
Tiffany's jewelry.
Treat yourself.
Massages.
Treat yourself.
It's like, treat yourself 2023. You know, something like
yeah. So, but that is so hilarious. But yeah, that's what she's like, fine leather goods.
Fine leather goods. I do remember that.
Like you remember that. Yeah. Treat yourself.
Oh my God. Yeah, Bretta is hilarious.
I love it.
So, that is another episode. So April is like the youngest cast member, or well, not the cast member, but she's the youngest person who works in the department. She is a horrible human being. Okay. But she's funny because it's just like they had this one girl who actually ends up being Brianna from from Grace and Frankie.
Oh, okay.
Brianna. And like, so Brianna, not Brianna, whatever her name is, the character comes in and she's just like one of those like Valley girls. It's just oh my God, like I love this. April is like, I don't like her, but for some reason I want to be her.
Oh my God.
So she says that to like the camera. And then the girl's like we should scooch over into like Lululemon and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, we should totally scooch over there. But she's like, the only reason that she likes the girl and like thinks that she's cool and wants to hang out with her is because she wants to be her because the girl is so mean. Oh. And April is a mean, horrible person.
So she's mean, but a mean Valley girl. So mean girls. Gotcha.
Yeah, she's definitely a mean girl. Okay. But I mean, but April she
is drawn to that.
Drawn to anything that's horrible. So it's just like, hey, like we had like there's a pit like somewhere that, you know, somebody started to dig out for a basement and they never filled it in. She was like, so like you can just like stick anything down there? Like nobody's ever gonna find it? Like they're about to fill it in with what, concrete? Like can a body go down there? I mean, like, what about if I have like trash? Can I put that down there? You know? So it's just hilarious. All right. But the thing is that when you give her a project for her to do on her own, she's great at it. She kills it every time. All right, and like I said before, Ron hates everyone. Yep. He hates the government. He hates his job. He hates the people around him. He hates life. He hates life. He loves his ex-wife though, and hates her at the same time.
Well, there you go. That's love.
And I believe his ex-wife is his wife in real life.
Megan Mullally.
Yeah, I think his ex-wife on the TV show is his wife in real life.
Karen from Will and Grace.
Yeah, but I can't remember what her name is. Yeah.
So that might be, his wife. She might be in the cast somewhere. You never know.
Yep, Tammy Swanson. Yeah, so like every time like Ron is like, he's scared of Tammy because with Tammy he is not Ron Swanson anymore. He is some other person.
Oh, gotcha.
He's in love and he doesn't like himself being in love. Gotcha. He's happy. He doesn't like himself being
happy. Okay, gotcha.
Like Ron's smile is like maybe one eyebrow going up with this blank face. That's him smiling.
Yeah.
All right. So give you a little story about one situation that happened. So there's supposed to be a campaigning for Leslie Knope to be the head of like a department. Yeah. And so the place that April found was like, it was like an old rec place, you know, just a basketball court.
Okay.
Well, they've changed the basketball court into an ice skating rink.
Oh.
So now in the budget, you're going to have to pay for the red carpet to go out to like the podium and stuff like that.
Skates or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the department not having the money for this, well, not the department, but her and her team not having the money for the campaign. It was supposed to be a picture of her face.
Okay.
And it's supposed to say Leslie.
Yep.
And that was supposed to be like her campaign thing.
Yeah.
Just her face with her name. No, they got I think it was only like her left eye, part of her nose, and then it just says lie. Because they didn't have enough to write Leslie.
So it's like, oh, she lies.
Yeah, she lies.
Oh my gosh. That's not a good selling point.
As they get their music playing, they're walking out. Now introducing blah, 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 Parks and Rec. They walk out, it's red carpet. So they're walking on the red carpet. They get to the end, and you still have to go a good maybe 20 feet before you get to the podium.
Oh my gosh.
They were like, oh yeah. Tom says, oh yeah, so we ran out of money on the budget for us to get enough carpet to get us
to the podium.
She was like, okay. So then the music stops and they're just like, all right, guys, give it up for us. And then they start shuffling over to the podium.
Like little robots.
Chris Pratt's character, Andy, he's walking and all you see is his feet go swoop, 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 boom, and then he falls. No. It's hilarious. It is so funny. Gosh. But then there's another part. The podium is like table high. They ran out of money in the budget for steps. So Ron has to get on all fours for her to step on his back and then step up.
Oh my god!
It's just funny because it's disaster funny.
Yeah. It's like, they're trying to do the right thing with Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, they are trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, because that's what I took. I mean, I never watched it consistently, but I would watch an episode here and there. Yeah. And I always felt like they have such good intentions that always go awry.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's all about good intentions. It's always for the best, but nothing works out. So it's opposite of...
It's opposite of like what actually needs to happen.
Well, and it's opposite of what you just talked about with It's Always Sunny.
With Always Sunny, yeah.
Like they always have bad intentions.
Yeah.
Whereas they have good intentions, but both don't work out.
It's poor planning. Yeah. Poor planning. But I don't know. I love it. I think it's funny. If you want to check it out, Parks and Rec, like I said, 7 seasons. It's on Peacock, 30-minute episodes.
Okay. There you go. All right. Well, then I have as my last one, The Good Place.
I love The Good Place.
The Good Place. And that actually was watched right now because it's already, all of these shows that I mentioned are off air. But that one you can watch on Peacock. And so we have the cast, which includes Ted Danson, the amazing Ted Danson. And he plays Michael, who is the architect of The Good Place. So that's his character. You have Kristen Bell, and she plays Eleanor. So Eleanor is kind of the main character of the show and all the antics that she gets into. You have William Jackson Harper, who is Chidi, and he is in the show as Eleanor's soulmate, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. You have Manny Giacchino, who is Jason, and Jason is a monk, I guess you would say, at the beginning at least of the show. He's a monk at the beginning. Yeah. And then you have Tahini, who is Jamila Jamel, and she is like the British person who's just, she's love and wonderful, and I wear dresses, and I have a huge mansion. She's supposed
to be like a philanthropist, right?
Yeah, she was a philanthropist in real life, and so the whole premise of the story is that if you lived a good life, before going to, I guess you would say, like, your final destination or whatever, you're really,
heaven or hell.
Yes, you are in a good place or a bad place. And so what ends up happening, the very first episode, Kristen Bell, or Eleanor, she's actually opens her eyes. She's in this lobby area, and Michael, the architect, opens the door like it's to his office and says, "Hey, come on in." Yeah. And then he proceeds to tell her that she has died. She died in a parking lot, got hit by a truck or something like that.
She got hit by something she was pushing a shopping
cart. Yeah, pushing a shopping cart and, all of that and was killed.
Yeah.
So based on that, she, took the news pretty well, actually. And she was just like, am I in the good place or am I in the bad place? And he was like, oh, yeah, you're not in the bad place. Like, this is a medium place, really, but it's the good place. It's not the bad place. So it's like, oh, good, great. So he takes her around. He shows her everything, shows her, they have ice cream shops and places you can eat, and you can never die there because, something can fall on your head. It doesn't matter. You're already dead.
Yeah.
based on how you lived your life is how your and what your desires were is how you live in death. So therefore, like, she would walk by a house and it would be this huge mansion, but maybe that person lived in a huge mansion in life and that's what they wanted in death. Hers was a tiny little teeny house, and she was like, why is it that I get this little house and other people get bigger houses? And he was like, it's just based on your desires. We tried to customize everything to what you want. Like, he was the architect of everything. He said, down to the blades of grass, everything has to be perfect. If it's not perfect, it can create chaos within the good place. So she ends up meeting her soulmate, who is Chidi, and he's he is a professor at a university of philosophy. So he speaks of all his travels and he's super smart, and she's supposed to be a soulmate, which you would think, would be kind of, someone of similar ilk, character. No. And she's like, oh yeah, like, no, I grew up in Tempe, Arizona, and moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and went to college, and then came back to Tempe, Arizona. So, like, that's my whole existence in life. And so he's like, okay, interesting. So we really can't talk to her about philosophical situations because she just doesn't even have that knowledge or experience. And you get to meet Jason and Tahani, who are supposed to be soulmates as well. Jason is a monk, not saying a word, not a beep. And then you have Tahani, who, again, is just over the top, planning parties, name dropping all the time.
Yeah, every time.
She's like, oh, that was the day that I went to Johnny Depp's dance party. Yeah. Or, oh, and then my godmother, Diana, da-da-da-da-da. Like, everything is a name drop. That's just how she is. But she's a philanthropist and has raised, I think she said, $60 million for different efforts throughout her life and things of that nature. So the interesting thing is that Kristen Bell was told by Michael, the architect, who was Ted Danson, that she actually, he's like, for everything that you did, and you being someone who was a lawyer to get people out of prison who were, falsely accused, like, that's how you ended up here in the good place. And she was like, oh, okay, got it, thanks. And then she goes to Chidi and is like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. Like, you're a professor of philosophy, supposed to be everything about ethics and, I think it was a professor in ethics. I think it was codes ethics. In ethical. So she was like, help me to stay here. And he's like, wait, that's immoral for me to try to help you. I think I need to go to Michael. And she's like, look, just help me to be a better person so I can stay here, because Janet, I forgot to mention her character, she's like the robot. And so that's Darcy Carden, who plays that role. She actually just pops up as soon as you say Janet. She pops up right beside you, and you can ask her any question. Like Siri, but in person. And so, you can ask her any question. And so, other than, I guess, what is it like to be in the bad place? She said, all I can do is play you one quick snippet. And it was like people crying and screaming. And it was like, flesh burning off of people's bodies. And she was like,
oh, dear God, no.
Yeah, exactly. And so what ends up happening is, I think when Chidi realizes, like, oh, that's where she's going to go if she's not supposed to be in the good place, let me try to help her before I say anything to anybody and try to make her a good person. Because Eleanor, in real life, was a horrible person, kind of like you were talking about for your other show. Yeah. And so she basically was the person who, her job full time was to call up the elderly and get them to buy medication that didn't work just because it was a scam. So the company was like, well, we need you to call people of a certain age to, get them to buy the medicine, but don't make any promises, but allude to the fact. And she was like, you want me to lie to people and get them to spend money? Okay, got it. Like, where's my desk? Like, let's just go ahead and do this. She would be the designated driver for her friends, meet a guy, and leave them. And then, those kind of things. She just was a horrible person. Every time you would like, oh, let's pick, the name of who's going to do X, Y, and Z. If it's something that's supposed to be good, she would always insist she picks the name and say it was her that won. And everybody's like, why do you always win? Like, somebody else should be picking the names. And she was like, do you not trust me? Do you not trust my moral code? And they're like, kind of no, we don't. So she's just a horrible person. So she really shouldn't have been in the good place. So there was some kind of glitch. And because of that, the world of the good place starts falling apart.
Yeah, breaking into pieces.
Yeah, she literally stole shrimp from the opening night ceremonies of being in the Good Place, and the next morning shrimp were flying in the air. She called Tahani, and she was walking around like a giraffe, and all of a sudden giraffes are everywhere. So Chidi is like, you are breaking the Good Place. Like, what is going on? And so what ends up happening is there's sinkholes, it's fire, it's trash falling from the sky, it's insanity. And so Michael, the architect, basically says that something is amiss and we don't know what it is, but we have to figure this out so that way we can save the Good Place. So that's kind of how it all starts. And then her trying to not tell anybody she's not supposed to be there, but maybe even bumping into some other people who aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah, very true.
And then realizing that, if I say something, I'll be sent to the bad place. If I don't, this place might fall apart. How do you work that medium of wanting to stay in the good place, but not wanting to destroy the good place? So that's when the shenanigans begin.
Yeah.
And that's like episode 1, maybe 1 and 2.
Yeah, but the first few episodes is a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. But I feel like everything that I just spoke to is mainly episode 1.
Yeah.
A little bit of maybe episode 2, and it was like 5 or 6 seasons. So you definitely have a lot of time to get to know the characters and just the fun that is the Good Place. So that's what I have. Yeah. So it's funny. So that, again, was on Peacock. So, sis, what's your last one?
All right. So my last one is my ink. Come on.
How y'all doing?
All right. So I got Martin. I did not know it was only 5 seasons that Martin was on.
Wow.
92 to 97.
Wow.
133 episodes, though. It's 133 episodes
in syndication. You have to get over 100, I believe, to go into syndication.
I think Parks and Rec was only 124 episodes.
Yeah, some get right to 100.
It was 7 seasons, but with Martin, it was like each season had like 27 episodes.
Gotcha.
Because it was 1992 primetime television.
Yeah,
that's. There's nothing else that was going to be coming on. So you had, we're going to record for a full year. We're going to play these things for a full year.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So, start off. So you have Martin Lawrence, who plays Martin. Tisha Campbell, who plays Gina. You have Thomas Mackay Ford, who's playing, Tommy. You have Carl Anthony Payne II, who's playing Cole. And you have Tashina Arnold, who is playing Pam. Mm-hmm. Now, if anybody doesn't know about this, Martin is a radio personality on this sitcom, and he follows his life basically with his girlfriend Gina, her best friend Pam, and then his 2 best friends, which is Cole and Tommy. Now, so the fun,
Tommy ain't got no job.
I was about to say that. That was the whole thing. So Cole is just in love with Big Shirley.
Oh yeah,
and just whatever Big Shirley says, he does. And Big Shirley is supposed to be a woman who's like 400 and something pounds. It's like 6 foot. You never see her. You see part of her. You might see her hand. And her hand is huge. Yeah. Her hand looks like Shaquille O'Neal's hand coming towards your face or whatever. And then her burps will blow you into the other room. That's happened to Cole quite a few times. Tommy always talking about, yeah, man, I'm tired from work. He'd be like, man, Tommy, you ain't got no job. And Tommy don't never talk about what he does.
No, nobody knows what Tommy does.
And then Pam and Martin, they just always going at it. They just always have goofy nicknames for each other. They just don't like each other because it's like they're fighting over Gina, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, that's my girl. I understand that's your best friend, but that's my girl. So you don't understand this, respect me type thing. But it is so hilarious, how it all unfolds. But also, Martin plays multiple characters. Okay, so he has Shanae Jenkins.
Gotta have Shanae.
Who is a neighbor across the street. What is it you want? Yeah. So you got Shanae. You got Jerome in the house. I said Jerome in the house. I said Jerome in the house. Watch your mouth. Yeah. Jerome is he's kind of like the little player around the way.
Older,
gold teeth. He got he got like a perm.
Yeah, and like velour all the time. Or some kind of
sometimes he has on a velour sweatsuit all the time.
Yeah, he's a trip.
A velour sweatsuit that's short sleeve, gold teeth, and a jerry curl. It's just too much.
Too much.
You got Mama Payne, so Martin is playing his mom, which is funny. Then you got Roscoe, it's the little boy who comes up, and it's Martin walking on the shoes on his knees. You saying
with his nose
snot just out of his nose. What you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's hilarious. You have Otis Supreme, who is security guard. Man, let me tell you about Otis. He is so funny. And then how they do, how they have him like dance, and he looks like an old man trying to dance. He got a super small security outfit on, with his gut hanging out. The buttons is about to pop on it. It's just so funny.
I forgot about Otis until you said his name, and all I could think of was that gut.
Thick eyeglasses, teeth bucked out of his face, gray hair. So funny. You also have Bob, the white guy from accounting.
Do not remember.
You remember Bob? You don't remember Bob?
I'm gonna have to Google
Okay,
Bob.
you end up Google Bob.
Yeah.
Let's get this party started. Okay. That's how he was. Then it was actually just somebody who I think he was working with Gina, and he was just at a party. He just trying to be in with everybody, but he's the only white guy there. It was so funny, But yeah, it's basically Martin in whiteface and a blonde wig.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So funny. Yeah. And then all right, so you have Elroy Preston. Mm-hmm. I don't know how else to talk about Elroy Preston, but don't you know no good? Okay, don't you know no good? Don't you know no?
Oh, I do remember Bob. Now that I see him, yeah.
Elroy Preston, he's like a mechanic / singer. He is just, I don't know, he just pops up in the episodes out of nowhere for no reason. I think Gina's car broke down. Elroy was there, and he's like singing. Dancing. What
else would he do?
Little flashbacks, and then you got Gina and Pam are both singing his background vocals. It's so funny. No good. Yeah. And then you got Dragonfly Jones. Do you remember Dragonfly Jones?
I don't know.
Okay, so he was the black karate sensei.
Oh yes.
Dragonfly Jones. Yes.
Yeah.
So you have all these characters that Martin is playing. I don't know what else people have seen as far as other TV shows and movies, but if you have ever seen, I think it's New Jack City, where Nino Brown is walking around with the dog at the table with everybody. So Martin has a stuffed animal of like a plushy dog.
Okay.
That he's walking around the table that looks like a Rottweiler.
Okay.
That he's getting to bark at everybody as he's walking around the table talking to everybody. He's like, sit your tail down before I take your $5 and make change. It was like, sit your $5 tail down before I make change. So it's just funny. It's cute. It's entertaining. I love it. There is a lot of things. You got Brother Man from the fifth floor, but he always puts up four fingers.
And he would come in weird ways, right?
He always came in through the fire escape.
Yeah, through the fire escape window. Yeah, that was crazy.
With Martin being at the radio station, he does have the other guy who works with him at the radio station, who is Garrett Morris, who plays Stan.
Yeah, you got Garrett
Morris. So there is a lot of different funny little
Garrett Morris has been around forever. I think the first season of Saturday Night Live, if I'm not mistaken, he was on there. He was on there early. Yeah,
everywhere.
Great.
But no, it is a good show. It's funny. It's wholesome. I love it. It's definitely something to watch, to have just playing in the background while you're doing your work or something like that. You will get enthralled to some of the episodes because you'll end up remembering seeing it before, or else just something will catch you. So it's definitely good. I love it. Check it out. Like I said, it's 5 seasons, 133 episodes, 30 minutes, and you can find that. They got it on BET Plus. You can find it on HBO Max as well.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah, so
that
that's what we got.
This week's I guess you would say sitcoms and, everything I think that we talked about, now that I think about it, was 30-minute shows,
30-minute sitcoms,
right?
yeah, we did sitcoms.
30-minute sitcoms, because I think there's a few things lately that have been going an hour, but for now, 30 minutes. It's quick binges if you want to do them at certain times, or have them on in the background to rewatch while you're cleaning the house, or doing
folding clothes, whatever,
something like that. So maybe taking you a little bit down memory lane to remember
back down memory lane.
Okay,
hey,
watching some of these shows. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and we will look forward to talking to you next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.